If you have identical twins, triplets, quadruplets, how do you make sure that they remain the right one from birth through early childhood? I suspect this may not be a popular opinion, but if you can't tell, does it matter? Okay, that was about 95 a joke, but I wouldn't be surprised if a fair number of identical multiples swap their names around unknowingly for the first week or two, until you start to their personalities. My elder sister, only a toddler herself, could tell me and my identical twin apart. My parents sometimes had to ask her. We still ask her when we're looking at baby pictures from decades ago. Forehead tattoos. I used to color code my twins. I dressed twin A in blue white and twin B in green yellow. I've heard of nail varnish on toenails. Some people put bracelets on them for the first few months. After that, the parents can generally pick up on the small difference between them. My father was a twin, and he had a pair of older brothers who were also twins. He told me once that he wished he had been given a simple dot tattoo at birth. 1 dot for the firstborn, 2 dots for the second, etc. Somewhere unobtrusive like on the foot. He believed that it was quite possible that he wasn't who he thought he was all his life. It wasn't an existential crisis situation, more of an occasional thought. I've always figured that his idea was a good one, and if ID had twins, I would have looked into getting it done. At least for mine, their sizes were quite different at birth, and one needed part of his head shaved for a pick line in the NICU. By the time they were both about equally chubbier baby-looking guys instead of skinny preemies, I could see the subtle differences in their faces, and one has a cafe at late birthmark on his thigh. Small tattoo colored dots on bottom of feet is one way. I'm convinced a lot of multiples have been switched from their originally assigned names. There was a This American Life episode about the Sklar brothers trying to figure out if they had been switched. HTTPS. I knew twins that one had pierced ears and one didn't. The parents had a really hard time telling them apart as infants, and that was their solution. By the time I knew them in elementary school, they were easier to tell apart by their personalities and mannerisms. TBH, I think many of them do get mixed up, and it doesn't really matter or affect them in any way. When the doctor told us we were having twins, my wife and I joked about tattooing their names on their butts. Sadly, doctor was wrong. This was before ultrasound was a thing. It's not uncommon for identical twins to be noticeably different in height and weight at birth because a shared placenta doesn't necessarily dole out nutrients evenly, and birth weight is heavily influenced by pregnancy conditions. They may not even out for years. So in some cases, the baby twins look very much the same, but you can tell who's who easily enough when they are together. Thankfully, my twin identical grandsons looked just different enough and were different sizes, so that wasn't an issue. It's actually gotten harder as they age, because they are looking and sounding more alike than ever. They are 10 now. I am an identical twin. My parents put a dot of nail polish on a toe to ensure we were identifiable until we were old enough. Does it even matter for the first couple of months if there are no medical issues? They'll eventually develop a personality and we can move on with the right names from there. I babysat twins when I was a teenager while their parents were working on renovating their house, so they were there, just a couple floors away. I thought I got them mixed up after a changing. They wore different colors and I thought I knew which one was which and got them back into the right color sleepers. But I'm not certain. I used to have triplets in our nursery, identical boys and a girl. Mom couldn't tell them apart as babies, so she painted one boy's toenail. I had them for 2 years in nursery and still couldn't tell them apart, but the girl could.